Good evening, guys, and happy Wednesday to all of your sunshiny faces. That that word that just came out of my mouth sounded like it's Wednesday. It is Wednesday, not, I don't know what I just said. Anyways, yeah, so I'm going to go and take a shower and get to bed now. Overall today, I think I had a pretty productive day again. Like, I did my editing and uploading, I did dishes and laundry today, I watered the gardens, like, just with, like, the watering can today, because I didn't feel like lugging the hose all around. Also, too, when we set up the sprinkler yesterday, somehow me and Jack managed to get the sprinkler stuck on the hose, and we both tried to get it off. And now I don't know if maybe because, again, we had it turned off, like the water from the hose, so it wasn't like it was like pressure or, you know, like anything like that. Maybe though, because it was still wet, like from it, you know, spraying out, that we couldn't get it off. But it almost, like, and I don't think we put it on wrong, like, you know, we got the grooves like stuck or something like that, but I'm not entirely sure exactly why it was not wanting to detach itself from the hose. And so it is currently still stuck on there. I'm gonna, like I said, now that it's dry, I might be able to get it off, but if not, I might have to ask my dad if he can figure out what we ended up doing and how we got it stuck on there. But the thing was, Jack put it on there, so I'm wondering if, like, he used extra strong muscles to get it on there, and that's what ended up getting it stuck. Because if it was me, I probably wouldn't have done that. But again, I'm wondering if Jack was like, I really don't want this to, like, leak or, you know, anything like that, or be spraying out from, like, you know, like in between the hose and the actual sprinkler, and so that's why he, like, twisted on there extra tight or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, I think it's stuck. Because then too, I was thinking, I was like, well, maybe you're actually supposed to turn it the other way, like not lefty-loosey, but maybe it was supposed to be righty-tighty to actually unloosen it, because I was thinking like, oh, well, maybe because like of when it sprays and stuff like that, so it doesn't unloosen itself. That was why. So like, I tried both ways, it wasn't budging either way. So like I said, I don't know too if it was just because it was all soaking wet because we had the water on, or what it was. But yeah, that's stuck on there. So I couldn't, even if I had wanted to today, walked around and watered everything. But I just, again, everything was still honestly very much like, not soaked, but it was definitely watered, like, and you could tell, like, today when I was out there. And I was like, really? I might have not even needed to have come out here to water this stuff. So, but I did anyway, because like I said, I just, at least, like, we have like a big watering can, so I normally do one of the whole, like, vegetable garden beds with just that, so it's not like they get like a ton of water, but they still wind up getting, again, a good, pretty good, like, soaking at least somewhat of a drink. And today was not as hot as it was yesterday. Like, yesterday was like 95 degrees or something like that, and it was humid too, but today was only like, I think 80 something, so it actually was significantly cooler. Like, I could definitely tell, because it wasn't humid on top of that. Like, yesterday just felt awful because on top of it being hot, it was humid outside. So like I said, that is, you know, like, I feel like today was a little bit better. And then I'm torn, because I think I told you guys it's supposed to rain on Saturday, which would be really nice. That means I don't have to water anything. But I was thinking, I was like, should I still set up the hose and, like, the sprinkler, or, you know, like, and the, what's it called, like, you know, water the plants in the garden, the vegetable garden bed? Like, should I do that, like, tomorrow, or, you know, water everything with a hose, or should I wait and just still, like, do everything? Because again, it's not actually supposed to get that hot, like, back up into the 90s or anything. So I'm like, should I just do that and then again wait it out, and then just hopefully again it rains on Saturday and I don't have to. But like, I don't know if it's supposed to be like, you know, like, we're supposed to get huge downpour of rain on Saturday, or if it's just like we're supposed to get like scattered thunderstorms and it's not really supposed to rain like a whole ton. Or like, that's what it sort of shows. It looks like it's supposed to be thunderstorms, which normally means a lot of rain. It doesn't just show like partly cloudy or like possibility of rain. So I really, like I said, I don't know entirely, like, if it's going to wind up like I said, coming down a lot and we'll have a lot, or if it's like just gonna be again like a little rain shower and that's gonna be it. And then it's like, well, I'm still gonna have to pretty much water everything because it didn't get, you know, a lot. So like I said, I don't know, but everything is coming up really nice. Our beans that we planted, not this last weekend, but the weekend before that, are already huge and big and thriving, which I'm so happy about because that was one of our late beds that we got put in. My dad finished today building the last bed on the one side closest to our house. It's really like a half bed. He has 3 more half beds on the other side. Like, it's the one away from our house because we have the set next to our house, then like the walkway, then the set away from the house. So he still has the 3 to do on that side. The 3 half beds are the one full and the half. And so all he had to do was just the one half still, and we had everything done. I had all the wood stain. I had all of the what's it called? We had, well, actually we didn't have all the dirt. We only had apparently my dad bought 6 bags. We needed at least 10 bags plus the good bag, which is like a double bag of potting soil, which he did not wind up getting, and so we only had 6. So I was like, you need at least another 4 because it definitely does not look like there's enough in there. So we're gonna, like I said, have to do that, and then we're also going to have to probably this weekend figure out, I want to see if maybe they have any like anything on clearance, or what I can also do is I can plant some late like probably root vegetables, I'm thinking, because honestly I was looking at our radishes today and like I can see them already starting to come up, popping out of the ground, and I was like, they honestly look pretty like radish size, like maybe a little bit longer, but honestly if they grew this quickly, I'm thinking that again I could definitely put in another crop of those and we can have more in like, again, another handful of weeks. I honestly feel like I could probably get 3, maybe 4 crops of like radishes this year. And also too, our beets did not take very well. I think honestly I only have 1, maybe 2 beets out of the variety of beets that I planted that actually are growing. But the problem was, I realized now, especially that we fixed our rose bush, so that's actually up on our arbor, it shades the one vegetable garden bed that's in the front, which is, I think that beets like a lot of sun, and so I think that that's a problem. And so because of where they are, I think maybe they're not getting enough sun, and so I'm thinking that maybe in like by next year we might need to actually move those to a different, like not move them, but like just have something different that grows in that bed, because there is a good amount of vegetables that like partial shade at least, and I'm not sure that beets are one of those. Or like I said, maybe I find it really hard to believe that all of the different beet seeds that I had, which was again a pretty significant amount, none of them ended up taking really. I think that it was the amount of sunlight there, and like I said, it's not permanently shaded, but it is shaded at least. Like when I was out there early in the morning that day when I shared with you guys when I was watering the garden, and I was out there, it was at least like shaded for like that portion of the day, and then there was like sun, but then it shaded again later in the afternoon. And so I'm really thinking that it is like a shadier bed. I'm thinking that again we might need to look for something that is maybe a little bit like I was saying, you know, like a more of a partial shade sort of crop, which certain ones, like even like lettuce and spinach and stuff like that, I'm not sure. I just know that they don't like hot weather really. I'm not sure, like I said, what the amount of sunlight is though. But again, if they're shaded, they're probably cooler, which could be good. But like kale too is something that I can plant later in the summer, because kale can survive frost. Actually, from what I've read, is that it actually tastes a little bit better if it does get some frost, because I think it's supposed to like take the bitterness or something like that like out of the plant. But that they'd actually do pretty well. The other thing too that we do want to make is a like cold, I think it's a cold frame storage, but we actually have some old windows that are up in our attic, which if they do wind up working would be really nice. But my mom's like our family friends that like my mom got a lot of gardening tips and things like that from, they used to have a pretty big sized backyard, and they had a big section of their garden. They're not a huge section, but like pretty big sized garden for even the size of their yard. And so they used to they made like some type of like cold frame storage where you can actually like keep, again, like, and grow things when it's still like cool or cold out, again, to like, even like for us where we are here, like that would be into October, possibly even November, and then even start some things earlier in the year. And like I said, especially like leaf vegetables, like leafy, again, greens, lettuce, kale, spinach, those type of things, arugula, you know, all that kind of stuff. They actually, again, do somewhat better in the colder seasons, so they would do, like I said, eat with a cold frame storage too, would probably do pretty good, and we can again plant them pretty early on. So like I said, this year we are hoping to have all of those beds done, and I would really love to get that cold frame storage thing built, so that again, like when we get into that colder time, I don't plan on having one built for every single bed that we have, but again, if we can even get maybe like 2 of them or something like that, so we can have them early on in the spring, or even 2 again late into the fall, that would be really awesome, because it does wind up protecting against frost. That was one of the problems I noticed when we had the greenhouse back behind our garage, was that it's supposed to protect against frost, but I felt like it didn't do a very good job, because like I remember when we put it up, I think, or like late, maybe it was in the fall or early in spring or something like that, when we, I think, first put it up or something like that, we had stuff out there, but it looked like it had suffered frost damage, and I feel like it was because it wasn't like built properly. Not built properly, but like I feel like the type of like plastic that it wasn't actually like very frost resistant. Like I would really love to build something that is more out of like there's certain types of like plastic, like not plastic, but like I forget what it's called, sort of like plexiglass, but like I said, the name is actually eluding me, but there is a specific type that is like what's it called, greenhouse grade, I think it is, where it is supposed to protect, because I was looking at that, because originally I wanted to build a greenhouse back behind the garage. This is before all of our plans ended up changing, and I was like, this little one that we bought on Amazon was like good for like 1 year, and then the plastic was pretty much ruined. I think maybe it was because we were supposed to take it down in the winter, but again, that's the whole point of like the plastic part of it didn't wind up standing up very well against the frost either way, and so like it was pretty much ruined almost after the first frost anyway, and so that was what seemed really, like I said, dumb with that. But anyways, but I was looking into this, and again, there is some type of like you know like plasticky sort of, you know, like material, and it is supposed to be, like I said, like some type of like greenhouse grade, where it still lets in like, I think, the UV rays, or like, you know, the sunlight and stuff like that, or whatever it is, but it keeps like it so that it doesn't, like the frost won't penetrate it, which is again can be really good for like cold frame. Our family friend, she ended up, I think they did it with like old windows. I know too they actually had, which was really cool, they had a basement, and they actually had a door, like a old like glass door, and they used it actually as like, they had their what's it called, like their window well in the basement. They actually ended up sort of expanding it a little bit, and then they had this glass door so they could actually still access it from the outside, but so that they could also put like this stuff, maybe, I don't know, maybe they could do it from the outside, I don't entirely know, but there was something like that, but like it was so that they could actually have that in the basement. They could start all their plants down there, but it was still protected, like, and that's the whole thing too, like, so the frost can't get through, but so that it still gets all the sunlight and everything like that. So they were actually able to start their plants super early without actually having a greenhouse outside. They had it in their basement and just used the window well, and like I said, they used an old like what's it called, like door frame, but they actually, or not door frame, but like an old door, and they actually had it like angled off of their like house, if that makes sense, and it was really cool. I thought it was like one of the coolest things ever. But like I said, they had like lots of really good ideas like that, and so my mom picked up on some of those too, and like I said, I know that there was something that she either found plans for or was, you know, planning on doing or whatever, and it was with this, like I said, these like windows. And so 2 of the windows that are up in our attic that I believe we found when we were cleaning out was from, there's one window in the attic that is definitely a newer window, and I think that they replaced it and just kept the old like window frame pieces, like with the panes in there and everything. I thought they're still fine. But they're still up in the attic, and I can tell that they were definitely the ones that were still original from the house, because they're the same ones that like are in my bedroom and the living room. Well, not living room anymore, those ones we replaced, but like kitchen, bathroom, all that kind of stuff, they're like the exact same type. And so like I said, but the new one that's in the attic, you can definitely tell that it's a newer window. So like I said, I think at some point they replaced it, but like I said, there's still 2 pieces, which is what you need to make this. So like I said, I'd actually have to look up some plans maybe on Pinterest, or we'd have to figure that out, but that would be one thing that I'd be really excited about. But I do need to find, like I said, I was gonna check to see if when we do the bed this weekend, because we'll have all the dirt for it, so we just need to plant something in it. And I was thinking like maybe some type of like clearance plants or something like that, because again, not a lot of stores, like, you know, again, greenhouses, whatever, are having a lot of that stuff right now, just because we're sort of past that point. But honestly, we can still keep planting stuff, like I said, that is fast growing. Like even like tomatoes and stuff like that, we can still probably get some harvest off of those. You know, again, and depending on how big they are at this point too, you know, even by this point. So again, we're kind of pushing it with some things, but again, other fast growing things that, you know, again, we can get like multiple harvests out of, or that are colder weather crops, we could actually possibly wind up, like I said, planting some of those things still, even though it's we're almost into July. But our planting season honestly can start at the beginning of May, really. But I remember a lot of times we didn't get a vegetable garden in until pretty much June. So like I said, we're, you know, like almost at that point where it's almost past that too, but again, there might be some things that we can still sort of plant. And like I said, any leaf vegetables would be really easy and fast, and we can do those. And anything, like I said, that is faster growing, I'm thinking sort of root vegetables, like I said, like the beets and the I don't really know if those are root vegetables, but like I don't know how well carrots, or how quickly our carrots are taking a really long time, the ones that are coming up, which is not a lot, but again, those were older seeds, so I'm still surprised that any of them came up. Like those were the ones we had bought last year. So again, having some of them come up at least is good. But that's why like the beets, I don't understand, because some of those were ones that we bought last year, but I think some of them were ones my mom actually bought this year. So that's why I really do think that it's the location for them, and they're having a problem, because those were one thing that I grew a lot of. I don't think it was last year, I want to say it was 2 years ago, and I had really no problem with beets. But I think that, like I said, it's really because of the location that they're in, and there's only like one that's really like doing well right now. So yeah, anyways, and I don't think that they, like, since I see one coming up already, I don't think that it's just the seeds that are taking a really long time. I think that it's just they're not thriving very well there. So anyways, like I said, those ones are even ones that I could, like I said, see myself planting more of. But anyways, I can always do more beans and peas and stuff like that too, although I think we're sort of out of anything that I can plant, because we used up all of our poles, and we've also used up all of our A-frames. So I don't really know if I can do any more of that, but I don't know, we'll have to see. I really would love to do strawberries. I don't know if strawberries are, like, strawberries will come back though year after year, like once you do a strawberry like patch, but I don't know how much space I need for a strawberry patch. And I also don't know, like I said, if like even we planted them this year, if they would bear any fruit. I'm sort of thinking that they might, but like I said, I don't know how much. I remember too at our old house though, we did have some that grew in like a little patch, sort of like almost the same way our house is now. We had like the sidewalk, and then there was a little patch of like garden sort of, and then there was the house, and that's how our house is here too. But I remember we had some strawberries along that point for a little while. So like I said, I think actually we might be able to do them, because again, I don't want to plant too many of them, but like I would love for them to come back year after year, would be really awesome. And that one spot that's left at the end, I think would be a really good spot to do it. There's a couple other plants that are like that too. I believe asparagus is a plant that I don't even think you can harvest the first year that you plant, and I think it's the same with rhubarb as well. My mom really wants to do rhubarb, but I believe that that's another one of those, like, you plant it and I think you can't actually harvest it until the following year. But I believe that it is like a perennial where it comes back year after year. Again, I don't know if that is with rhubarb, but I believe with asparagus it's a perennial, but I think you can't harvest it the first year. I think you have to harvest it the second year. But like I said, it might be similar with that to rhubarb, but I believe that, again, that is a plant that keeps coming back. Now, we can't do like any berry bushes or anything like that, or any like orchard trees. We don't have enough room for that. Actually, we had an apple tree, but it was more of a crab apple tree. It's actually funny though, because we did wind up getting some good apples off of it, and I think it's actually because one of our neighbors has 2 peach trees, and I'm almost wondering if the apple tree that we had, I don't think that it actually was a crab apple tree, but I think that it was either maybe a self-pollinating tree, or else it was somehow maybe somebody else in the neighborhood, other than, like I said, the people I know that have I think it's a peach tree. Other than that, I don't think that there's any other fruit trees around, so I don't know how it's like being pollinated. But I know that that's a thing. You have to plant those in multiples, because unless they're self-pollinating, like I said, you need more. I have done a little bit of research. I'm no expert gardener, but I have, like I said, done some research into that. So that's why my mom was very surprised that our apple tree was actually bearing fruit, because she didn't remember it being a self-pollinating apple tree. And so she was like, it has to be like somebody else in the neighborhood has to have an apple tree, or else, again, maybe it was somehow the peach tree or something like that. I don't know, that maybe was like causing some type of pollination and it was actually bearing fruit. I don't know. But it was interesting. Like I said, there's a couple things that I'm looking at thinking about planting, but like that's the thing too, is that I don't want to plan on planting rhubarb and then putting it in a spot and realizing like, oh, we shouldn't have planted it there, or we should plant, you know, again, something somewhere else, or like whatever the case may be. I don't really want to, like I said, plant something that's going to keep coming back year after year, only to realize that we shouldn't have planted it in the spot that we planted it. So anyways though, we're going over there's a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. We're going over to see my aunt at my other aunt and uncle's house, because she's dog sitting, and so we said we would go and visit. And then also too, we're going tomorrow because my mom is she's working that festival. It's not in our town, it's like a summer sort of festival in the town that she works in for her work, and so she has a couple hours that she's working at a booth, and so we're gonna go there, like I said, on tomorrow afternoon. So I've got a couple things going on, but I've been happy that I've been getting all of my things done like the last 3 days, so I'm like not behind with dishes, I'm not behind with laundry, like any of that kind of stuff. Editing and uploading too, I'm pretty much actually almost all caught up with, which is good too. So like, even though I might not have really any time tomorrow, I don't have to feel like, you know, again, I'm pressed for time, or again, like I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm behind with stuff already and I have all this going on. So you know, that's the good thing about staying up to date and on top of things. But yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give the old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny pieces tomorrow. So bye guys.